This video is brought to you by Sony. Learn what happens when artists meet engineers.
Hey everybody, Jim and Chris here to talk about today's Academy Award nominations, specifically who got snubbed. A couple of big glaring omissions this year. Let's start with a guy who's, yes, he already has 2 Oscars, but a pretty big omission this year, Tom Hanks, specifically for Captain Phillips. Now,
yeah, he also had Saving Mr. Banks. Yeah, I mean, he could have been nominated for both of those films.
Yeah.
And wasn't, and it's strange because he's the guy that gets the nomination.
They love him. He's
like the male Meryl Streep, you know.
Yeah. Speaking of her, yeah, she got a Best Actress nomination.
Of course, because she was in a movie.
Hanks is Saving Mr. Banks co-star who was up for a Golden Globe and has been in a lot of other kind of awards races this year. Emma Thompson, Saving Mr. Banks, not nominated. I'm really stunned by that and disappointed because I thought she was fantastic in it.
Could be the Academy's thinking too self-congratulatory because it's Disney doing the Disney thing.
Yeah, there's that. And then some other folks who got snubbed in the acting categories. Robert Redford for All Is Lost. You know, man's a screen legend. He does have an Oscar for Best Director from about 30 years ago, but this was a tour de force. It was just him the entire movie, and it's a great film. Nothing for it, nothing for him. And then Joaquin Phoenix snubbed for her.
Yeah.
Now, her did get a couple of other big nominations.
Yeah, got the Best Picture nomination, which is awesome. Got the Screenplay nomination for Spike Jonze, which is very cool. But
no Best Director nomination for Spike Jonze or for Paul Greengrass, who did get the Directors Guild nomination. Taking his place in the Oscar nominations was Alexander Payne for Nebraska.
And back to her, Scarlett Johansson, that was an outside shot. Like, we don't think that's necessarily a snub, but
it's purely a vocal performance, if you guys didn't know.
It points out the fact that there isn't really a category that easily categorizes voice acting. So love to see that in the future, maybe, and performance capture.
And performance capture. A couple of other notable acting snubs. Daniel Bruhl, who played Niki Lauda in Rush. A lot of people thought maybe he'd be remembered in the supporting actor category. Didn't happen. And the late James Gandolfini for Enough Said. A lot of folks thought maybe they would honor his memory with a nomination. That did not happen.
What about McConaughey for Mud?
McConaughey for Mud, I would have loved to have seen that, but he did get a nomination for Dallas Buyers Club, and he did just win the Golden Globe.
Yeah, hot on the heels of that.
I think he might actually squeak out a victory here. Inside Llewyn Davis, the Coen Brothers movie, a lot of folks love it. Didn't really get any Oscar love at all. Nothing really for the film itself. It did get a cinematography nomination. Let's see, Monsters University did not get nominated for Best Animated Feature.
And The Croods did. So
the Croods did.
Kind of a snub for Pixar, but I think Disney's probably okay because Frozen is as much of a lock as I think there is.
Right, but it does make you think, okay, are they, between, I guess Brave won last year. I was going to say.
Yeah, I mean, I do think the sheen's off of Pixar a little bit.
Yeah.
I think it's not, it's not like a sure thing like it used to be.
The Butler, now that was a movie that was not universally loved, but kind of shocking that Oprah Winfrey, who a lot of people thought was a shoo-in to get a Best Supporting Actress nomination, didn't get one. Forest Whitaker,
yeah, also. And it's funny, you can see their campaign. It's leading up to the Blu-ray was very, very awards-focused, and this is the day when all of that comes crashing down, when you put all your effort into getting, that awards push, and it just doesn't happen.
Yeah, it looks like the Weinsteins will have to be happy with Philomena, which did pick up a few nominations.
Surprisingly, right? Like, that's a slight surprise.
But you know what the thing is? I knew there's always that kind of dark horse candidate that comes out late in the year.
And the Weinsteins are always behind it.
Yes, yes. And then finally, to me, a big notable kind of snub was in the documentary feature category, Blackfish. Now, this was a much talked about documentary film. It's still ongoing, like the amount of kind of pressure it's brought down on SeaWorld.
And it's a great movie. I mean, it is a well-made documentary, so it is surprising because I feel like one thing the documentary category always does is takes that example for that year and says, hey guys, check out this documentary. It's also sort of a viable commercial thing. But yeah, not this year.
Some other films that we thought maybe could get some sort of recognition that were snubbed in multiple categories. Lone Survivor,
yeah,
Fruitvale Station,
definitely.
Mandela: Long Walk to Freedom, no love for Idris, so we're bummed about that. And Blue is the Warmest Color, which they loved earlier this year at different international festivals. And again, Saving Mr. Banks. And Inside Llewyn Davis one more time. So, I am curious to see who's going to end up squeaking out some victories.
And Bad Grandpa didn't get the Best Picture nomination, but it did get
Bad
nominated.
Grandpa did get
nominated for makeup.
Lone Ranger has 2 Oscar nominations. Okay,
that's a reverse
think about
snub.
that. Yeah, it is. It's a bizarre turn of events. So I wonder what the Coen brothers are thinking today. Like, wow, really?
They're probably like, I'm thinking they're probably like, let's make another amazing movie, and who cares?
We have our Oscars.
Yeah.
All right, guys, we'll keep it locked here to IGN for all your Oscar movies coverage. Thanks for watching.